Excellent, thank you. Millie?
Hi, yes, I'm just getting it in there. I had a hard time copying it. So I just wanted to say that the Streamline stream text link is now in the chat if anyone needs to utilize that for captioning. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Who are your presenters for this session?
So Isabella Cass, Izzy, is there, and I'm not sure if there are going to be others joining you or not, Izzy.
It's just me.
All right, great.
Very good, thank you.
All right, I think then we may as well go ahead and get started. So hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. My name is Melly Santora, and I am the moderator here today. And I would like to take an opportunity to just turn our time over to Izzy Cass, who's the program coordinator for Institute for Human Development at Northern Arizona University. And this session today is addressing vaccine hesitancy through self-advocacy. Izzy, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm really excited to talk a little bit about this project. I've gotten a lot of enthusiasm from the self-advocates with whom I've spoken about the project, and we're really hoping for this to be an opportunity for self-advocates in Arizona and potentially a larger geographic region to be able to express their experience with COVID and the COVID vaccines, as well as to benefit other self-advocates and parents of children with disabilities with their sharing. Just as a little overview, I'm going to talk a little bit about the funding opportunity that led to this project and kind of its roots, and then discuss our understanding of what influences vaccine hesitancy in the general population and also in the disability community. And then I'm going to share some really excellent examples of self-advocacy influencing vaccine hesitancy that were produced by another USED, and then talk a little bit more about our project, and finally premiere some footage from our project. Please stop me at any point if you have any questions, or if I'm speaking too quickly. I'm going to put a PowerPoint up on screen for a bit of this presentation. And just as a foundation, I would like to encourage any feedback or constructive criticism that you all can provide, because this project should really be it's an iterative process, and we're trying to craft it to be most representative and most responsive to the needs of self-advocates in the disability community. And so feedback is welcome at any point throughout the presentation or afterward. I'll share my email address. So yeah, let's get started. Let me share my PowerPoint. Okie dokie. Do you all see like the PowerPoint presentation, or do you see presenter mode?
Presenter mode.
Okay, so you see like what I'm supposed to see as the presenter, not actually like not the presentation itself. Hold on, sorry. Thank you. Okay, there we go. And now it's just the title screen.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be speaking about addressing vaccine hesitancy through self-advocacy today. I'm just appreciative for being here. So thank you all for your attention. So actually, the first thing I'm going to do is give a brief overview of the funding opportunity. The Institute for Human Development is housed within Northern Arizona University. It's a university center for excellence in developmental disabilities, and we are connected with other disability organizations in Arizona, like the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, and I'll talk a little bit more about those connections in a minute. The Institute for Human Development was notified by its project officer at the Administration for Community Living, which is the funder of the UCED, the University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. The Administration for Community Living is the funder for that organization. And so we were notified that we were eligible for new funding flowing from a federal stimulus package that passed in the spring. And these funds were particularly reserved for UCEDs to help fortify and energize state developmental disability networks/agencies in aiding the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines to persons with disabilities. So the name of the funding is the Dissemination Innovation Mini Grant, and its purpose was to implement innovative message delivery systems and modalities to reach people with disabilities. And that includes individuals not connected to service delivery systems, as well as their families and direct support professionals. And the overarching goal of the project is to boost COVID-19 vaccination rates in the disability community. And I spoke about our partners before. Other partners in the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Network also received this funding, including the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, the Arizona Center for Disability Law, the ARC of Arizona, and the Sonoran UCED, which is a UCED housed at the University of Arizona. So IHD is collaborating with these partners to maximize our impact. And we've already collaborated with the ADDPC to develop and distribute a needs assessment survey for parents of children with disabilities in order to better understand why they may be hesitant to vaccinate their children. And we're also planning a panel discussion of developmental pediatricians and other relevant authorities who can speak to parents and individuals' concerns about vaccines, so that people with disabilities and their parents or care team can ask their questions to professionals who can serve as trusted sources of information about the interaction of vaccines with disabilities and with underlying health conditions. So that's the background for what I'd like to talk about now, which is some of the information that we have about what can influence vaccine hesitancy in people in general and also in the disability community. So we started off with relatively limited information about what exactly the needs were in the disability community and what was leading to vaccine hesitancy in that community. And there were a couple of sources that we were able to connect with or develop ourselves in order to gain a better understanding of those needs so that we could target our interventions to be more effective and to really address the needs of the disability community as it relates to information about the COVID-19 vaccines, accessibility of the vaccines. We didn't really know exactly what was needed, and the funding opportunity was a very quick turnaround. So we were kind of thrown into this and needed to learn more about the situation. So one survey, which was particularly helpful, was from the American Association on Health and Disability, and it was a rapid online deployment of a survey for adults with disabilities, and this came out in May, so just less than a month after we received our funding. So this was really formative in our understanding of what interventions would be the most effective way of using our funding. So in general, and what I'll speak to over the next couple of minutes, is that surveys have found that people are most concerned with short and long-term side effects of the vaccines, as well as the vaccine's effect on underlying health conditions. Many people don't know that enough has been done to test the vaccines with participants with disabilities and also to track those participants' reactions over time. So they also believe that there's not enough information about how the vaccines might affect people with disabilities and people with underlying health conditions. So this survey from the American Association on Health and Disability showed us that about 27% of the respondents were unsure or not going to get vaccinated. So 38% at that time had already been vaccinated or their vaccination was in progress. And the survey was exploring the reasons behind why people may or may not have yet gotten vaccinated. And of the group that had not yet gotten vaccinated, 52% of them had a cognition disability and 37% had a mobility disability, where only 6% had blind or serious difficulty seeing, or were blind or had serious difficulty seeing, and only 5% were deaf or had serious difficulty seeing. And the not sure sample had approximately similar composition in its population of those disability communities. So the most frequently cited reason by the respondents for vaccine hesitancy related to their disability for the people who were not willing to get vaccinated or who were unsure was not trusting the safety or effectiveness of the vaccine on their disability, not trusting the safety or effectiveness of the vaccine on their underlying health condition, not receiving reliable information on the impact of the vaccine on the respondent's underlying health condition, and not receiving reliable information on the vaccine's impact on the respondent's disability. And then lastly, just because of an underlying health condition. So those were the 5 reasons that were most cited that were disability related reasons for vaccine hesitancy in the population that was unsure about getting vaccinated or had not yet gotten vaccinated, or were a no on getting vaccinated, I guess. And then in general vaccine hesitancy, so not related to disability, the most cited reasons for being hesitant among the group who answered they would not get vaccinated or were unsure about getting vaccinated were worry about possible long-term side effects from the vaccine, belief that development of the vaccine was rushed, and that it was 69% for long-term side effects and 60% for belief that development of the vaccine was rushed, and worry about possible long-term side or short-term side effects, and was 46%. Not trusting vaccines in general was a reason cited by 44% of the respondents in those groups, and wanting to wait and see how the vaccine works in other people was 43%. So that's something that we'll touch upon later, wanting to wait and see how the vaccine works with other people. 43% of the respondents who either decided not to get vaccinated or weren't sure cited that. So clearly, like, that's very powerful in understanding how the disability community is interacting with and relating to the vaccine and how things are going for other people is clearly one of the 5 most cited reasons, or it clearly could have a large impact providing more of that information. And the survey also asked about how trust in entities and organizations affected vaccine confidence. So respondents identified that distrust in the federal government officials, vaccine manufacturers, and state government all contributed to their unwillingness to be vaccinated or to them being unsure. And those were the top 4 entities. And they also cited lack of trust in these entities to provide reliable information as also contributing to their vaccine hesitancy. So clearly, information coming from a large organization that is seemingly associated with the federal or state government is more likely to be distrusted, because lack of trust is cited as the reason for vaccine hesitancy by these individuals who are choosing not to get vaccinated. And another thing that was very interesting about this survey is that vaccine sites not being physically accessible was a reason cited by only 6% of respondents who were had not gotten the vaccine or were unsure about the vaccine for why they had not yet gotten the vaccine. And accessibility or information not being offered in alternative formats was only 5%, and no transportation to vaccine sites was only 4%. So we had thought initially that maybe getting people access to the vaccines by providing rides or improving physical accessibility at vaccine sites would be a way to address vaccine hesitancy in the disability community. But among those people or the adults with disabilities who weren't getting vaccinated or were unsure about it, very few of them cited vaccine accessibility and availability as playing a role in their overall vaccine decision making. So that's the first survey I wanted to talk about. Really important and informative to our understanding of what interventions would be useful. And the second survey I wanted to discuss is, I mentioned earlier, we developed in collaboration with the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council with their funding from the same funding source. And this was a needs assessment for parents of children with disabilities to better understand why they had or had not gotten vaccinated themselves, and also whether they were going to vaccinate their children. And something I'd just like to say to preface this is that we've been forward looking this whole time to a period at which vaccines are more readily available to children 12 and younger. And that's becoming, that target is coming closer and closer. And so we're really trying to get ahead of the ball with what our interventions will be to ensure that parents have resources and messaging that will help encourage them to get their children vaccinated, because a lot of parents, even if they've gotten vaccinated themselves, are unsure about vaccinating their children. So we're trying to get ahead of the ball on that and provide some clear information so that once these vaccines are accessible to younger children, parents are more likely to choose to vaccinate their children. This survey that we deployed with the ADDPC, the results that came back were that we had a question that was, I'm not hesitant, but I've not yet been fully vaccinated because, which is interesting wording, but I think it elicits a very interesting response. And the most common responses to that question about why they themselves have not yet been fully vaccinated, these parents, was worry about possible long-term side effects, being unsure of vaccine ingredients, worry about possible short-term side effects, the vaccine being created with new technology, being unsure of how the mRNA vaccine works, not thinking that they're at risk of serious illness or death because of COVID-19, and not trusting the safety or effectiveness of the vaccine. And then also that the vaccine was made too quickly. Those were all the top reasons. We asked people to share their concerns about being vaccinated against COVID-19, and they were able to just submit a short form answer. And so we completed qualitative data analysis that showed us that the top concerns were side effects was the number one concern by far. It had almost twice as many answers as any other listed concern, and safety, lack of adequate information, and the vaccine properties and development were other commonly cited concerns, but really side effects took the cake. We also asked those parents why they were, if they said that they weren't going to vaccinate their child or they were unsure about that, we asked them why. And the most common responses aligned really well with their own reason, or with the reasons that some parents gave for not being vaccinated themselves, which were worry about possible long-term side effects, worry about short-term side effects, not trusting the safety or effectiveness of the vaccine on their child's disability, not trusting the safety or effectiveness of the vaccine on their child's underlying health condition, being unsure of the vaccine ingredients, the vaccine being created with new technology, and wanting to wait and see how the vaccine works with other people. And then the concerns shared were very common. Side effects was the most often shared concern in the short form answers that they were able to provide. So it's a really interesting opportunity to see what is actually, where the barriers actually are between people getting vaccinated and not getting vaccinated, and particularly with their children. And so we're trying to think about what kind of messaging can we do to assuage these top fears, which are fears of side effects, fear of safety, fear of effects on underlying health condition and their child's disability. And wanting to wait and see how the vaccine works with other people. So those are some of the considerations that we had in mind. So the next thing I wanted to share is this study from 2015 that was also very helpful in our understanding. So the title of the slide is the title of the paper. And basically what this paper shared is that when people don't vaccinate because they lack confidence in vaccines, it's important to correct myths. When they don't vaccinate because they calculate that the risks outweigh the benefits, then you should emphasize the social benefit of vaccination and add incentives. When people don't vaccinate because of complacency, you should use informational interventions to explain the disease risks and to stress the social benefits of vaccination to try and motivate people who are complacent. And then finally, the fourth category was for people who don't vaccinate because it's inconvenient. The most effective forms of intervention to convince people to get vaccinated were removing barriers to vaccination, supporting self-control and promoting self-determination, and also adding incentives. So adding incentives was useful for both the people who don't vaccinate because it's inconvenient and people who are doing a rational calculation of the pros and cons. So this is a really interesting framework for understanding how specific messaging and interventions can address specific types of vaccine hesitancy. So the type of vaccine hesitancy that we are seeing in the survey results is really a lack of confidence. This paper says that a lack of confidence is the hardest type of vaccine hesitancy to address. So it shared some strategies for addressing and encouraging people to get vaccines who lack confidence in vaccines, and those are listed here in the last 4 bullet points. So I'll just share a little bit more from the article. So the article says that individuals with a lack of confidence usually have incorrect knowledge that's distorting their risk perceptions and is just undermining their general trust in vaccination. So that misinformation needs to be debunked. And it's really important that trustworthy sources like doctors do so. So the intervention that can work here is correcting misinformation and doing that with a trusted source of information. So what constitutes a trusted source of information? A doctor is a very good example, which is why we are looking to collaborate with developmental pediatricians to disseminate information and allow parents and people with disabilities an opportunity to discuss their concerns. Anyway, a little bit more on this is that, so basically all other strategies other than addressing that misinformation with a trusted source would have no positive effect and could even have negative effects, according to this article. So other informational interventions, like information from a semi-trusted source are too weak to change strong anti-vaccination attitudes. So like fear appeals or messages that are framed towards gain, like how you could benefit or how your community could benefit from vaccination. Those types of messaging are likely to be devaluated and lead to reluctance in people who just lack confidence in vaccines. So structural interventions probably won't work, like trying to impose mandates, and incentives would likely need to be very high to convert those who are principally opposed to vaccination. And in a similar vein, all interventions that are directed at like promoting self-control and self-determination, or the implementation of the decision, trying to get people to make a decision, they're not suitable for this type of non-vaccinators, according to this article. So that it was very interesting, and combined with the information from the surveys really led us to choose a certain type of intervention along. We have a couple of initiatives, but I'm going to share one in particular today. So we know the big takeaway is we know that information from a trusted source is one of the only ways to persuade hesitant people to get a vaccine. So how can we develop a trusted or a font of trusted source of information for people with disabilities and for parents who have children with disabilities to help encourage them to get their children vaccinated. So I'm going to share something very exciting now, which is videos from self-advocates that these were filmed by the Georgetown, you said, I can't remember the exact name of it, but they also, or the Georgetown Center for Children and Human Development, maybe, which is the name of this account that the video comes from. And they used this vaccine funding, the same source of funding that we got, to film these series of 3 videos with self-advocates explaining their thoughts about the vaccine, why they got it, and what their thoughts were. And so I'm sharing these just because I think it's really valuable to hear from self-advocates themselves. And I am also sharing them because they certainly have served as a model for the type of information that we would like to be disseminating with this funding. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Please let me know if you can't hear it. Yeah, let me know if there are any concerns.
Why I got my COVID-19 vaccine.
Can you all hear it?
Yes. It's a little quiet.
Okay.
I'm not hearing it at all now.
Okay, got it.
Can we replay?
Yeah. I will play it again. Hold on. Sorry. I haven't. Oh, sorry. Let me try experimenting with the share screen options to see.
That's what I was just going to say. You might have a choose computer sound. There you go.
Nice. Okay, great. Let's try this again. Thank you.
Vaccine after I really did not want to, with Thelma Green.
Can you all hear?
Thelma is an African-American woman
Still quiet,
wearing
but
a
yes.
tie-dye Black Lives Matter t-shirt in a power wheelchair. This video is a part of a project to increase vaccine confidence among people with disabilities. This work is funded in part by a subaward through the Association of University Centers on Disabilities, CDC Cooperative Agreement Award Number 6NU38003.
I was hesitant at first to get the COVID-19 because it I didn't know too much about it, and I've been hearing about people passing from the COVID. From getting some of the shot. Until I felt comfortable, I wasn't going to get it. I decided to get the COVID-19 vaccines because, for one, I got tired of being up in the house, and I was ready to go out. So I said, I decided, and some of the other people that I knew that took it, they ain't get sick and they ain't die from it. So that's why I went on and got it. And for the record, I got my first shot on May 18th, my second shot on June the 8th. And it was good. I ain't have no side effects from it.
The Georgetown University Center for Excellence in Developmental.
So I'm just gonna okay. Well, I'm gonna share two more videos in this series. So the next one is with
Why I got my
sorry. I think I might just need to. There we go. And again, let me know.
Why people with disabilities should get their COVID-19 vaccine with James Beadle and Thelma Green. Two adults sit side by side in someone's home. James is an African American man wearing glasses. He has a short beard and is wearing a striped polo short sleeve shirt. Thelma is an African American woman wearing a tie-dye Black Lives Matter t-shirt in a power wheelchair. This video is a part of a project to increase vaccine confidence among people with disabilities. This work is funded in part by a subaward through the Association of University Centers on Disabilities, CDC Cooperative Agreement Award Number 6NU 380-280-03-05.
I ain't want to get it at first because I was scared and I didn't know what might have happened. I wasn't sure about the side effect. That's why I didn't want to do it. But James wanted me to get it, and I kept saying no.
So James, why did you want Thelma to get the vaccination?
Because she likes to go out and mingle with others.
And
when you fight her, you're taking a big risk.
a risk?
People have been vaccinated and then some that hasn't been.
So she would be safer.
Safer.
Okay. And so, Thelma, what finally changed your mind to get the vaccination?
I thought about it. I got tired of being up in the house. And I know if I did, one of the biggest factors is for Special Olympics, you got to at least have, I found out, you got to at least have at least one of the shots or both in order to participate. And I do Bouchie. I wasn't too crazy about Bouchie, but when it came down to bowling, oh yeah, I want to go. So that's what changed my mind about getting it. I wanted to be able to participate in Special Olympics and do my bowling. And I know if I couldn't prove that I had one of them shots, I wasn't going to be able to go.
Okay.
So James was right on that one. It's about the going part.
It's about going out. Okay. So James, what do you think you said that helped Thelma realize that she needed to get the vaccination?
And that she would be much safer if she had it.
What would you tell people who listen to this about the importance of getting a vaccination?
Well, the important thing is you protecting not only yourself, but a whole lot of other people so they wouldn't get sick. And here you don't know who got the shots and who don't. So even though I got my shots, I still wear my mask when I go out in big crowds and stuff. Even when I go out to the gym, I don't go out like that, but when I do go to the gym, to the program, I keep my mask on just like I didn't have it, but I did.
Thank you. James, do you have any advice for people who are listening about why it's important to get the vaccination?
That they would feel much safer if they go out and get the vaccine to protect themselves and someone else.
Yeah, and I just want to iterate that. I know some people say they got sick when they got it, but I didn't get sick.
Okay, and now we're going to get to hear James speak about his own experience, and that will be the end of this series. Okay. Sorry, hold on. It's hard to get the video to not play and just have the slide advance. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Getting my COVID-19 vaccine with confidence with James Beadle. James is an African American man wearing glasses. He has a short beard and is wearing a striped polo short sleeve shirt. This video is a part of a project to increase vaccine confidence among people with disabilities. This work is funded in part by a sub-award through the Association of University Centers on Disabilities, CDC Cooperative Agreement Award Number 6NU380T003.
Was kind of skeptical. At first I was kind of skeptical about getting it, or should or shouldn't. So.
And so what made you say, yes, I'm going to get the vaccination?
So we get back to work as normal as possible.
You wanted your friend Thelma
Mm-hmm.
to get the vaccination, and for a while Thelma was saying no, she wasn't ready.
Right.
So why did you want her to get the vaccination?
I told her if she didn't get it, she wouldn't be able to travel.
And Thelma likes to travel.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other reasons that you thought of to tell her to get the vaccination?
So we'd be able to go out, go places.
All right.
What were your first thoughts when you first heard of the COVID-19 vaccine?
What was going to happen if we didn't get the vaccine?
What do you mean?
Like, we've been hearing things like people passing or so.
Yeah, and it was a really sad time.
Yeah, sad.
What advice would you give to other people who are thinking about getting the vaccine?
You should go out and get it.
The Georgetown University Center for
Great. Thank you for viewing those with me. I think it's just very important in this work to center the experiences of self-advocates, and I don't have a self-advocate to present with me, but this video was so valuable in better understanding how messaging with self-advocates is important, and what can be used in messaging to encourage people with disabilities to get vaccinated, and also just to emphasize the importance of the connection between everyone in the disability community and how valuable that connection to others can be. So that has really influenced our work. I would like to talk now about our project. This project aims to provide persons with disabilities with access to information about the lived experiences of others in the disability community as it relates to COVID-19 and the COVID-19 vaccines. So the information that's shared, as well as the form of the content and the medium that it's shared on, like what platform, will be determined collaboratively with participants so that the project most effectively reflects the needs of the disability community in terms of engaging with relevant information about these topics, as well as sharing their experience with these topics. And we want to create a platform that is by and for self-advocates and parents so that they can share their lived experiences of COVID-19 and the COVID-19 vaccines. And our goal with that is to help other people with disabilities make informed decisions about their health. And obviously the overarching goal of the funding is to encourage people to get vaccinated. But as I'll speak to later, we are committed to sharing a breadth of perspectives, including perspectives from people who have not yet gotten vaccinated and are unsure about it, as well as people who decided not to get vaccinated, and just better understanding why that might be for them. So we are, we're hoping to, or we are currently developing TikTok videos. So those videos can be both either filmed by participants, or we will bring in our own equipment, or bring in professional videographers to film participants if that's what they would prefer or is easier. And we're also going to be cross-posting those videos to Instagram, and maybe cross-posting those videos to YouTube, or like creating compilations around like content areas or types of perspectives to post to YouTube, and as well as maybe developing content specifically for YouTube. And we're like, for YouTube, we're thinking for YouTube and for the other platforms, we're thinking of doing some series, like people speaking to different aspects of vaccination, of life under COVID, what they did when X happened, like when lockdowns first happened, just having a series of people sharing what that was like for them as a person with disabilities or as a parent of a child with disabilities. And we're also, something we're very excited about in this project is that we'll be connecting these videos with resources from our Arizona Developmental Disabilities Network partners, as well as other sources, including advertising dissemination events and advertising vaccination events, and sharing the content that's developed by our partners who have this funding, and just anyone else who's producing anything that is relevant to this project. And all of these videos will be archived offline, and we're preserving these platforms to serve as catalogs for the project. So we have specific accounts for this project, and they're going to be preserved in perpetuity to serve as reference for the experiences of the disability community in this time and related to this topic. In our success, we're really hoping to cover a breadth of topic areas, including experiences under the COVID-19 pandemic, talking about vaccine hesitancy, vaccine side effects, both short-term and long-term, vaccine and interaction with disabilities and interaction with underlying health conditions, and vaccination of support staff. And so when you probably will notice some common themes as to what I was discussing when we were looking at the survey results, and what we found that really influences the vaccine hesitancy of people in the disability community. So we're really hoping to provide a trusted source of information on those topics, and share a breadth of perspective so that people can see opinions represented from across the spectrum in a variety of ways. Some of the diversity that we're looking to get and include in the project is people with different types of disabilities, physical disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as people with disabilities with underlying health conditions, because underlying health conditions was a very important factor for people's vaccine hesitancy and with the information that we've been provided. And then also, as I spoke to earlier, we're really hoping to include the perspectives of parents in this project, and to share these videos on platforms that may be more accessible to parents, like Facebook and Instagram, platforms that more parents are on than on TikTok, because we anticipate that there will be vaccinations available to children, hopefully very soon, children younger than 12. And we want parents to be able to access resources about the experiences of other parents in order to inform their own decisions about whether to vaccinate their children. And we're also looking for a breadth of ages in participants, and a breadth of backgrounds, including geographic diversity, being located across Arizona and maybe across the US, and ethnic diversity and socioeconomic diversity, because we want people to be able to see themselves represented in the project, because that's where the impact comes in, of being able to relate to the perspectives and experiences of the people included in the project, will help people make more informed decisions about their own health and getting vaccinated. And something else exciting that I'd like to share is that we're hoping to recruit self-advocates for paid work on the project, which would include outreach and filming / videography / editing. So we would love any help with connecting to self-advocates who may be interested in that. There may be an AmeriCorps Vista position offered in relation to this project. So we currently, I've connected with self-advocates who are really excited about participating in this project, but a lack of resources and dedicated staff time to work on this project has hindered our progress, and also the fact that a lot of the self-advocates wanted to see what kind of content we were going to produce first and then participate themselves. So they were like, yeah, sign me up, but I don't want to be the first one. So we actually just this week had the opportunity to film with a person that we're connected with whose name is Parker. And he shared with us his experience during COVID, as well as his experience with what he would like in getting vaccinated and his thoughts about getting vaccinated. So to kind of wrap this all up, I just wanted to do a little world premiere of Parker's video. And this is just a small segment of it, and it will be edited and posted on TikTok. And I'll share, actually, I'll go ahead right now and share the links to all of our resources. So I'm putting that in the chat right now. And Alex, I see your comment just now. You and I should talk about that, but I do think it's very cool. Like I'm just so excited to see what comes out of this project, because I'm so curious myself about the perspectives that will be shared. And I think that it's just going to be so valuable. So anyway, I'm just going to share a little bit of what Parker has to say. And that will be posted to TikTok sometime this week. So I posted our links in the chat, and that will connect you to our social media accounts, which you should follow, as well as some contact and interest forms. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this video. Give me just a second. Okay. So I have a time that I want to start this at. Oh, this is actually right there. Okay, great. So we're gonna listen to Parker talk for a minute or so about his hopes for or things that were happening for him during COVID, and his hopes for getting vaccinated.
Hi, I'm Parker, and today I'm going to talk about how COVID has made me feel in the quality of Rosebud and Thorn, and then I'm going to talk about the vaccine. So, COVID, the rose of it is I've got to hang out with friends on video chat, which is really fun. I've got to play a lot of video games. I got to spend a lot of time on the iPad, which I love. My bud is, as everyone, I'm looking forward to when kids get vaccines, and also I'm looking forward to just when COVID's over in general. Thorn is that we have to be isolated for so long. Now onto the vaccine. The vaccine is, I think everyone should get it. It's just good. It saves people. It helps people from getting COVID. It's like COVID's superhero. It saves people from COVID. And those are my thoughts on COVID and the vaccine.
Would you get the vaccine if you could?
Yes. Yes, and I hear that kids are going to get the vaccine pretty soon.
You're on mute.
You're off.
Thank you. I'm sorry. So that was what Parker had to share with us, and it'll all get edited together and posted to TikTok early next week. I don't know if y'all have seen any TikTok videos, but typically there's some like shenanigans going on in the editing and like the text displayed on screen. So and Parker was very excited about being on TikTok. So we're hoping to create a really good debut video for him and his internet debut, as well as something that people will connect with. So we've got a whole like social media strategy behind this to try and get these videos, get people connected with these videos for whom they would be helpful and informative, and just generate some good conversation, as well as lots of safeguards in place to protect the identity of participants and moderate the conversation so that it doesn't become a harmful space, which is something that we need to be aware of with the internet. So for example, Parker's mom actually did a video for us, but she didn't want to show her face. And it's an incredibly powerful video. So I really encourage you to connect with our social media accounts because that'll get posted later this week. And it's really powerful to hear her speak to her experience. I just don't have enough time to share it now. And it's also got some audio quality issues that we're resolving. But we filmed her, we just filmed her shadow projected on a wall of her speaking. She didn't want her face to be shown. And so it's still a powerful way to connect with the speaker while protecting their identity. So there are lots of participation options. And one of the links that I included was a participant interest form. So that's the link that I put in the chat. That will connect people with us if they're interested in participating. So if you know of anyone who might be interested in sharing their perspective on COVID or the COVID-19 vaccines, please connect them with us. And yeah, that's all that I have. I think I wanted to leave some time for questions and feedback, as I said at the beginning of my presentation. We're really looking for feedback and opportunities to improve this project, just so that it really does help meet the needs of the disability community in terms of connecting with trusted sources of information and the experiences of other people in the disabled or the disability community in regards to these topics, as well as sharing their own experiences, because that can be really powerful and empowering. A lot of people have things that they want to say, and we're hoping to give them a platform to say it. So that concludes my time talking. I would love to answer any questions. Thank you, Melly, for your help with presenting this. And thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, and thank you also for your work in this space and for sharing it with us. Any questions or comments for Izzy?
I thought it was interesting that the one girl that was like, oh, I can't go bowling unless I get vaccinated. So that just got me to think, like, what are other motivating factors? Like people that are hesitant, but then like what if you give them like quote unquote like a carrot or something that, you know, motivates them, like what are those things? So I thought that was super interesting, but thanks, Izzy.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Thank you for the comment. Like I was saying before, it's interesting because incentives aren't supposed to impact lack of confidence in vaccines. And that's really what we're seeing is like the main issue with low vaccination rates in the disability community is lack of confidence and lack of information about effect on disability and underlying health conditions. But incentives are powerful. And if you find just the right thing for somebody that they really want, like if I really cared about bowling would totally get me to get vaccinated. So if you can find a powerful incentive, then that can influence anybody. So maybe something that will come out of this project is learning more about the incentives that cause people to get vaccinated or that could cause people to get vaccinated. And that could be like a side work of this project is like implementing some of those incentives or something. So yeah, it's interesting to hear about. Thank you for pointing that out.
I don't know if you all just saw that, but we have an extra few minutes. So we have until 12:45 if there are other questions or comments. Or anything else you didn't get a chance to say, Izzy, that you want to share?
Yeah, I talk a lot, so I tried to minimize it, but I just want to encourage following the social media accounts because there's going to be some really cool stuff coming out of there. Hopefully all grounded in a solid theoretical foundation as I shared. And so hopefully effective and useful for people looking to make decisions about getting vaccinated. Yeah, so Alex, the accounts are just at disability and COVID vax. And that's currently on TikTok and Instagram. They don't have anything on them yet, but that's where everything will be posted. So like I said, we're creating accounts specific to this product so that it can be archived and serve as a reference point for all of these perspectives in this period.
Izzy, this is Melly. I have a question. If there are other organizations that are interested in, getting involved in the work that you're doing, whether, not with a funding consideration, but because they have the ability to do that, should they reach out to you? And is there something that other entities could be doing?
That's a great question. Thank you for the question, Melly. There is a contact form at the link that I shared. So if you'd like to get in contact with us, there's an opportunity to share your contact information and also share a message with us, and we'll be in touch. So with other organizations, a lot of what we're doing right now is just sharing, or what we're going to be doing is sharing their resources. So if organizations are developing any other resources that we could post to our account or post links to in connection with our videos that are like on a similar topic or something, we're really looking to help share that information widely, share the information of all of our partners widely. But other than that, just sharing our videos and our social media accounts is very helpful. And then I would say that for some of the other initiatives that we're going to be doing, such as the panel of developmental pediatricians, as well as some like dissemination and vaccination events, that's something that we can collaborate with other organizations on, and we are looking to do so. If anyone has a representative who would love to be on a panel and field questions from people with disabilities and their parents in Northern Arizona, in regards to the vaccine, we would love to have them. Those are some opportunities for collaboration that exist right now. Thank you for the question, Melly.
Thank you.
I'm happy to end early and let everyone get to lunch. So if there is anything else, I'm also going to put my email in the chat real quick. And please be in touch, and please keep an eye on our social accounts.
All right. Well, thank you so very much again. And we hope that we will see some of you back after the lunch break, or all of you back after the lunch break would be even better. So thank you so much. And thank you to our captioner, Kimberly. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Great.